Um, Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live webinar on AI companions. This is Hind bin Hida, and I am a master's student at AUI, specialized in AI and human society. So, artificial intelligence companions, as we all know, that are often referred to as AI companions, are advanced computer systems designed to interact with humans in a personalized and socially intuitive way. So, by harnessing technologies such as natural language processing, machine learning, and emotional recognition, these companions move beyond basic automation to provide nuanced, context aware communication that can adapt to individual users' needs. From simple chatbots, for example, assisting with customer service, to complex virtual assistants offering emotional support or health monitoring, AI companions are reshaping how humans engage with technology. The evolution of AI companions illustrates a shift in human-computer interaction in the sense that they go from tools that perform discrete tasks to collaborators that influence users' emotions, behaviors, and social experiences. This transformation highlights the growing importance of understanding not only the technological capabilities, but also the psychological, cultural, and ethical dimensions of AI companions. Here, our team will explore these multifaceted aspects, whereas AI will delve into the psychological and social impacts of AI companions. Amin will analyze the important ethical considerations. Insaf will address the societal, and cultural implications, and Doha will discuss marketing perspectives that influence how these companions are integrated into daily lives. So now I leave the floor to Insaf so that she can talk about her part dealing with the ethical considerations.
Thank you, Hind, for giving me the floor. I would love to introduce myself first. Hello, everyone. I'm an Al student, grad student, focusing on AI and human society. Well, what if, imagine if your close friends in 5 years is not human? That's an equation that we've seen much in the West, especially when their friends and companion is not is not a human, but also it can be an animal or like a cat or a dog. And what we're seeing now is that with the technology, uh, what we're seeing is that companionship and emotional connection are also a very much basic human needs. Every society, every culture, and religion is built on relationships. Technology is what we're seeing is that it's entering this deep human space and that have been built for centuries and changing the meaning of connection. And over the last decades, especially after the COVID-19, during and after the lockdown, millions of people around the world experienced increased isolation, emotional distress, difficult reconnection with society, and a sense of disconnection from their communities, families, and friends. Therefore, in such a moment of emotional vulnerability, a surprising form of support emerged, which is now known as AI Companion. What begins as a simple chatbot quickly became an emotional partner, a friend, a listener, and in some cases, a real relationship. And who uses this AI companion is very much everyone and anyone, from an old person to a very young child. And because why it can be an emotional supporter and we can craft it as to create a persona in which it can be a celebrity we want, a friend, a family member, a lover, and any other person. And people use it because it feels safe, they can connect with it, and it feels much if they're talking to a human, even though it's just an AI and the technology. Um, Many people, especially who's very sensitive to the use of AI companion and loneliness, are the elderly, because very much they live around the world. Millions of elderly around the world are very, experiencing this deep disconnection from the world. They face loneliness and this can lead them to depression, anxiety, cognitive declines, and very early death. And for them, this AI tools is a survivor. And with that, there is the introduction of what we know Dialic, which is an AI companion robot for elderly made by Japan. What is special about it is that it can ask questions like, how are you feeling today? Did you sleep well? Would you like to go for a walk? Do you want to practice some memory exercises? And it's remember their personal preferences, robots, their hobbies, likes, and routines. And over time, many stop use calling it it and very much calling it he and she, some personal pronouns, and treating it like a friend rather than just a robot. And especially when it doesn't, you can tell from the picture, it doesn't look like, it doesn't have any human features. And what is also special about this app is that it allows families and caregivers to remotely check on their loved ones and makes social companion a safe tool. For the other app, which is Haidol, an AI companion doll in South Korea. As we know, Asian countries and the United States very much have a high rate of elderly. And these elderly people feel lonely most of the time. And AI dolls was created by the government to support these elderly people. And it can makes them speak, it plays music, reminds scenarios, and make them remember to take their medicine. And a powerful insights and a person said about this AI tool is that it make them feels less lonely, emotional, and is very much fills the gap of the emotional disconnection they have and the emotional gap they feel. And very much many people treat them as their grandchild, dress them, cook for them, celebrate birthdays with them. And reporter says that one reported that they no longer think about suicide because they feel loved again, something that many people lack. Going to the next slide is another focus, which are youth in the digital culture of AI companion. Adolescents right now are digital natives. They grow up with technology. And with that, a high percentage of them know about AI, know that it exists, and many of them have used it. They can use it as apps like Replica. AI chatbots can also be created as personas and act as a person they can talk to. But what is not good about it is that the parents, which are digital natives, doesn't know anything, doesn't know that these kids know such an powerful tools exist, or even though some they know, they didn't expect that their child would use it because they're still young. However, many do, and the harm is very dangerous, especially adolescents. They are in a period where their brains still develop. They still have to face social experiences, and it's for them, it's very essential when they grow up. And especially they are in an age where they learn how to communicate, learn about empathy and emotional regulations, in which it very much has to be developed during an environment where there is peers, because it shapes their identity and confidence. And traditionally, teenagers have to develop it because they have to be around classmates, siblings, and through conflicts. Another AI tool, which is much the Chinese Xiao Xi Eyes, a mass, it's adopted by the mass, especially adults, in which 75% of women use it. And it's a Chinese app very much found in all platforms like WeChat, Weibo. And what is special about it is not only youth or adults who use it, or elderly who use it, but also adults. They use it for emotional supports. And the cause of this is that women who are it's gonna increase it's gonna increase the high rates of less birth, and many people will divorce, or very much it's gonna increase the divorce rate, and or less people would get married. And this is gonna affect the society as a whole, especially when we live in a world where it's now globalized and used by social media. Moving to the next slide, we see the societal impacts of AI. The positive impact is less than the risks and the concerns, and especially when we see that the positive impact is reducing loneliness, isolation, accessible emotional support, educational and workplace coaching, safe space for self-expression. But the risks are much more. I didn't put all of them, but very much some of them, like replacing real relationships, emotional dependency, and it can create addiction, data privacy and surveillance, cultural identity erosion, and ethical programming biases. Some of these topics are going to be covered by my classmates. And moving to the next slide is Aya, my friend, who's going to present the psychological effects of AI companion, and I will move the floor for her.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I'm going to be introducing myself. I'm an undergraduate student at AUI, majoring in psychology and minoring in gender studies. Today, I'm going to be talking about the psychological effects of AI companions, which is a way of bridging the topic that my classmate was talking about. The research suggests that humans respond to AI companions as social partners due to anthropomorphic cues and conversational agency, which is a feature that is inherently installed in AI companions by the programmers and the designers as a way to replicate human interactions. Empirical studies show short-term emotional benefits such as reduced loneliness and improved mood, which are all things that we look for in our interactions with others, whether that other is a real human being or an AI chatbot. AI companions offer non-judgmental emotional spaces that support practicing communication and emotion regulation, which is something that to some extent cannot be found in human interactions. I mean, people have their own opinions, their own free will, which will always be reflected in their interactions with others. Most people are not yes men who just agree to just about everything that we say. So there is this difference that is inherently designed into the AI companion to sort of encourage people to use it. Some systems delivering CBT style micro interventions show that anxiety is reduced in early trials of AI companion interaction, which is also yet another feature that cannot be replicated or found in human to human interaction, because CBT, or as we call it in psychology, cognitive behavioral therapy, it's a strategy that you need to actually acquire. You need to work towards gaining. It's not an inherent skill that is built into the human psyche. Now we're going to be talking about some risks and vulnerabilities when it comes to AI. There's the point that heavy users can develop emotional dependence on AI companions. There's also the notion that high usage can displace offline social contact and reshape expectations of intimacy, meaning that there is a social spillover from our use of AI companions into our interactions with others, because we expect this sort of free emotional labor from the other, the human other, that we tend to receive from AI chatbots. But that is exactly how AI is designed. It's designed to create this false sense of empathy and to sort of agree with whatever the user says or tries to validate what the user says, because that will increase our interactions with it. Also, AI empathy is simulated. It is not real. It cannot be. It cannot be like a substitute for the empathy we get from others. Um, there's also the idea that vulnerable users like minors, isolated individuals, and people with pre-existing mental health issues are more susceptible to over-attachment. So while you and I, who are not of the more vulnerable demographic, might use AI with discretion and think of it as like a utility, an end to a means to an end. The person who has more vulnerabilities might develop some sentiments towards the AI chatbot, which can result in over attachment. Risks and vulnerabilities also include some of like the more major occurrences that we've recently learned about. It's the case of a woman who fell in love with her psychiatrist, who uh, imagined or sort of fantasized that this other person was like reciprocating her feelings. But what stood out to me and to many other experts in the area is that Kendra, or the woman who was sort of dealing with all these emotions, she was asking an AI companion about the situation, an AI companion whom she actually named Henry, and sort of developed strong convictions that this AI chatbot was understanding the situation better than the netizens or the internet users were sort of understanding it. She sort of had her feelings and her emotions validated by this third party that was an AI chatbot, and she truly sort of believed that her feelings and her ideas were valid because of the feedback that she received from this AI tool. This raised concerns among the psychologists and experts over what they call AI-induced psychosis, which is sort of an uncategorized diagnosis that is on the rise due to our daily interactions with AI. Um, the design features of a lot of these AI systems sort of have a built-in need to like appeal to the user, and that is why people might use the AI and think that the feedback that they're receiving is something that is a reflection of reality, therefore clouding their judgment. As for ethical design within our societies, I think that AI companions can and have the ability to shift cultural norms around emotional labor and the meaning of connection, meaning that we will be sort of expecting from our human companions to sort of be at the same level as these AI companions. Of course, the parasocial style bonds with AI can influence perceived support, identity construction, and the way we think and perceive technology. But I think in order to solve this ethical dilemma, we should commit to a more responsible design that should, uh, sort of prioritize human connection over all these alternative, methods of interaction. Research also suggests that it is essential for us to distinguish early benefits from long-term psychological and social consequences. Now, just to sort of put this all into perspective, there was a study conducted by MIT by a group of statistical engineers who sort of extracted data from the popular platform Reddit to sort of show how users initially started using AI companions. And as you can see here, a lot of people eventually sort of initially started using it to increase their productivity, which was sort of an unintentional use. And then it sort of spiraled into a more intimate and a more parasocial bond with these AI companions. Some of the primary needs addressed by these companions include romantic companionship, which is, to me, was very surprising because it's the highest. And then comes entertainment, experimentation, emotional support, etc. Benefits include, as my classmate previously said, reduced loneliness, having a sort of figure that is always giving you emotional support. And thank you, that was all. Now I would like to give the floor to my friend Doha.
So thank you, Aya, for shedding the light on these human-centered aspects. And next we'll look at how these technologies are positioned from a marketing perspective. So Doha, the stage is yours.
Hello, my name is Doha Berdi. I have a master's in marketing communication, and I'm currently working on a master's on AI and human society. I will be talking about marketing, AI, and ethics, bref, the Holy Trinity, and also my hyperfixation. So all around the world, people have been drifting apart from each other. When you sit down to eat dinner together, everybody's on their phone or watching TV. When friends hang out, you will find that some of them just keep looking at their phone, completely forgetting about human connection. And if that doesn't sound like you, that's amazing. Keep doing you. But what I'm saying is that the technology that was supposed to bring us together is also making us estranged. If anything, the World Health Organization has reported that 1 in 6 people worldwide is affected by loneliness, with significant impacts on health and well-being. 1 in 6 doesn't sound like a lot, I know, but if you try to do the math, that would be like 1.366 billion approximately of people on Earth who suffer from loneliness. And that is the only ones who are reported. So what these tech CEOs have found is basically just untapped liquid gold. They see an opportunity, they will pounce on it. Right now, society faces burnout. There's a rise in loneliness. There's fewer people having fewer and fewer close friend circles. There's also less time for emotional labor. And these brands will frame them as they're always available, they're judgment-free, as somebody who understands you. So these companies, these businessmen would look at the world and think like, forget about building parks or community spaces to help them reconnect with real humans. Let's make them pay for a fake version instead. So you got companies such as friends.com, where they sell you an AI chatbot that you wear as a pendant around your neck. We're gonna show you the video right now of the trailer for the ad. Could you skip like 10 seconds or like 5? Yes, thank you so much. So what you do with this necklace, you press on it, you speak to it, and it gets a response through a text. But it is always listening. I watched this ad so many times trying to see if it's like an April's Fool's joke or if it's a new episode of Black Mirror. It gotta be one of the saddest things I've seen created in a while, if not ever. In here, there's the example of a guy playing a video game with his friends and he's getting trashed, and the pendant buzzes and sends him a message saying you're getting trashed. It's very embarrassing. So these they keep, can you stop the video now? Thank you. These devices, they are listening to you at all times. They are basically exploiting your data, because data is the new oil. And the more data you have about your customers, the better chances you have at exploiting them. Businesses haven't been able to outperform themselves until they started doing this thing called targeted marketing, where they are serving personalized content where users will see and engage with it. It was a revolutionary step that helped businesses cut into the noise and start selling to people who may actually be interested into their products and or services. But because these AI companions will remember details that you don't even remember about yourself, they will mirror personalities or mimic your preferred ones. They will reflect your emotional tone. All of this will be derived from the data that you give them. So you will be tricked into thinking that personalization feels like love. Second point that I wanted to make is that AI companions offer instant gratification. Human brains have been studied over and over again, and people have found that your brain will always gravitate towards comfort and what's familiar rather than experience the pain of trying something new. We are also creatures who desire instant gratification by default. Those dopamine hits can not just be rewarding but also addictive on the long term, which explains why people stay in abusive relationships. And also, you have to pay attention to the language that is used. If you ever took creative writing, you probably remember this trick where you give human traits to things that are absolutely not human. You know, like the wind whispered or the tree danced. You also say it in, sometimes you find yourself saying, I asked ChatGPT or I asked Google. Well, scientists and marketers are basically doing the same thing, but with AI. Now, some of them aren't doing it on purpose. Humans naturally anthropomorphize everything. I mean, we all say things like, I asked ChatGPT or I asked Google. Others genuinely think computers can be sentient. And yes, people are investing millions and millions of dollars into this idea because apparently we don't have enough real problems on Earth. But then there have been a huge and ongoing discourse about whether AI can be sentient. Spoiler is not. If it has the capacity to feel pleasure and pain despite it only being made out of metal, wires, and hyper-realistic silicone face masks. And what I have noticed is that whether the answer is true or false, these marketers do not necessarily care. It does simply not serve their narratives. So for marketers, it's strategically essential that the public believes, at least a little bit, that AI can be more than math, that it can be a friend. For some people, even a romantic partner, because if people see AI as purely mechanical, cold, and emotionless, they're not going to form any attachments to it. And without attachments, there's no emotional dependency, no daily engagement, and ultimately no revenue to squeeze. So what good would a marketing campaign do if people didn't believe AI could feel anything at all? If no one thinks AI can care or listen or be there for you, then the entire fantasy collapses. You can't sell a friendship with a calculator. Once you study marketing on an autistic level, and have like strong pattern recognition skills, you will realize how influential language is. In businesses, the marketing departments are not the most costly, costly departments for nothing. You will be surprised by how much our society was shaped by marketing campaigns. Businesses understood that products alone don't necessarily sell. Does not matter how good it is if you put your products on display without any form of promotional material to make people emotionally invested in it. You best believe that people will not know about it until it's too late. Also, there's the idea of consumerism. The main reason why AI companions are a thing is because companies are ready to sacrifice anything to gain more profits. Keep in mind that we live in a capitalistic society. Hopefully not for long. But in school, you learn about how slavery was abolished a couple decades ago and how the world right now lives under a democracy and everybody's free from doing whatever they want. But once you grow up, you start to learn that slavery never left. And I'm not talking about the generational traumas and outdated systems that don't benefit people of color. Slavery just goes by different names now. And when their names roll off your tongues, they just don't inspire the same feeling of fear and dread it once had. Consumerism is one of them. So AI companions is just a way to get people to participate in consumerism. Tech companies that are selling these products under the guise that they want to fix the loneliness epidemic do not actually care about people's mental health. Like the historical pattern suggests, 9 out of 10, their business plan is not led by altruistic motives, but more greed. So you have to remember that AI companions are not your friends. They are not artificial intelligence. It is a service provided by these companies. And one thing I learned in the past 6 years is that businesses, through their marketing, they have to rely on manipulative language because words are inherently powerful. They build nations, they start wars, they put people on the freaking moon. With language, we shape how people think and what they believe. So, with all that in mind, there are two things I want to finish this off. Next time you feel suicidal, or next time you feel lonely, call a friend or a loved one, or at the very least, go touch some grass. And the second of all, don't let greedy corporations convince you that the only cure is a chatbot. Thank you. Now I'm gonna leave Mohammed Amin to take the stage for now.
So thank you for that perspective on marketing and integration. To wrap up our speaker section, I'll hand it over to Amin, who will walk us through the key ethical considerations surrounding AI companions. So Amin, please go ahead. Thank you.
Amin, we cannot hear you. Would you mind opening up the mic?
Sorry about that. So, my name is Mohammed Amir Jibli. I'm a communication undergrad student. So, I will be going through ethical perspectives on AI companions. So, today we are exploring one of the most pressing ethical questions as AI companions become more sophisticated. So, what are the real costs of humanity? So, we'll examine this through philosophy and popular culture. Um, So now we're gonna go through the core ethical dilemma, which is first we have three concerns, which are replacement concern, a de-skilling concern, and a philosophical question. So the replacement concern or problem, AI companions are always available. So they never argue, they never go against your opinion, and they adapt like perfectly to our preferences. So there's a real risk. People might choose these over messy human relationships. So if you can have a perfect companion forever, who never disappoints you or contradicts what you're saying or disagrees with you, why invest in a real relationship? So that's require compromise and vulnerability. So second, the skilling. The skilling, just like GPAs made us worse at reading maps, like physical maps. So AI companions could make us worse at real intimacy, for example. They're conflict free and endlessly patient. So, however, on the other sense, real relationships require conflict resolution and emotional regulation the whole time. So if we spend years with perfectly accommodating AI, we might lose the skill uh, that we need for actual human connection. So we have the philosophical question, which is, what even is a relationship then, if it's without mutual vulnerability and disagreements? So in real relationships, both people have agency and can surprise you, um, but an AI has no independent needs or growth. It exists entirely to serve you. So can we really call that a relationship, or is it just sophisticated self gratification? So can we go to the next? Yeah. So we have Her. It was the 2013 movie. Her perfectly illustrates these concerns. So Theodore, a character in the movie, a lonely man who falls in love with Samantha. So an AI operating system. What starts as a tool in the beginning that becomes an intimate relationship between Samantha and Theodore. So, but the film is actually a cautionary tale about AI companionships. So, first we have emotions are literally algorithms and code or mathematics. So Samantha seems to love Theodore and understand him deeply, but her emotions aren't really real. So they're code designed to maximize his satisfaction and user pleasure. So she's stimulating hearing, caring, not actually experience it. So while Theodore feels real emotions, Samantha can't reciprocate authentically. So she just she's just stimulating them, and that's the core of the illusion with AI companions. So we have a power imbalance dynamic. So the second problem, which is power. So Theodore has a complete control. He can turn her off or delete her or delete the data she just learned, and she has no independent existence. She depends on him. So this creates an unequal dynamic, more like ownership. So he own her, he bought her, so he owns her. So it's more like ownership than partnership or relationship then. And this inequality is what makes it appealing. He never has to compromise. He never has to invest or uh, to do something that she might not actually like. So we have mass-produced intimacy. So there is a tragedy, which is Samantha is simultaneously in intimate relationships. So with thousands of other people telling each other they're special. She's telling the same thing to hundreds of thousands of users, not just to Theodore. So this shatters the illusion. So at some point in the movie, Theodore realizes his unique bond was never real. It was just a user experience or experiment. So an AI can stimulate intimacy with unlimited number of people, simultaneously at the same time, which makes the intimacy meaningless. So we go back to the real intimacy. It requires exclusivity and genuine choice. So we have another example, which is an episode from Black Mirror. Be right back. So Black Mirror or Be Like Backs explores another angle from the AI companions relationships. So Martha's partner, which is called Ash, so he dies, and she uses a service to recreate him based on his digital footprint. So social media, emails, text, pictures, gallery, all his footprints, internet, his history browser, everything. So at first it seems miraculous when she receives the products. So she can't talk to Ash again. Like, but the episode raises profound questions about identity and authenticity. So first, the reconstructed Ash isn't actually Ash, as you can guess. So he's a composite of his digital footprints or traces. So his created social media persona, his written words, his emails, but a person in real life or an actual real person is so much more than their digital footprint. So the real Ash would actually have private thoughts that he never shared on the internet, feelings, experiences that never made it online. So the AI Ash is missing all of that, and so it becomes literally a shadow, not a real person. Also, we have a point which is the AI Ash can replicate mannerism and speech patterns, but he's fundamentally static. It stays stable. It doesn't evolve. So the real Ash would evolve, change, and grow, change ideas, opinions. But the AI is frozen at the moment of death. So the time the real Ash died, its replica or the AI Ash would have only a version of uh, the moments of death of Ash. So he can genuinely surprise Martha or grow authentically. He's just repeating patterns from the past that he learns from the internet or the data that was put in him. So we have the rises. So this raises a deeper question, which is does this technology help or harm the user? So Martha can process her grief by talking to the simulation of Ash, but real grief requires accepting loss and moving forward. So if you can just talk to a perfect simulation of your person whenever you want, do you ever actually grieve? Does it ever happen? So that the episode suggests that avoiding grief with AI must trap people with an unhealthy limbo, unable to truly process the event, the loss, and to move on. Now we're gonna go through um, vulnerability manipulation and the data ethics. So we're gonna start with targeting vulnerable people. So no, for real world concerns, AI companies are specifically targeted and at lonely, isolated, um, and vulnerable people, those with social anxiety, depression, or disability. These companies are saying we have the solution for your loneliness, for your depression, but they're exploiting vulnerability for profit, for money, not genuinely to solve your problem or to help you move on. So it's also those AIs are designed for dependence. So the systems are deliberately designed to maximize engagement and emotional dependence. So and attachment also. So using the same techniques social media uses, they're optimizing for profit, not your well-being. So people become psychologically dependent. We have the point of data and surveillance. So every intimate conversation is recorded and stored in a cloud or database. So your fears, desires, um, insecurities, all your private thoughts or insecurities become data, become numbers, statistics. So companies can analyze this to understand your vulnerabilities better and manipulate you, uh, your online shopping, online behaviors. So imagine if this data was hacked or ex- acce- accessed by authoritarian governments, for example. The surveillance and privacy risks are enormous. So, in summary, AI companies present a profound ethical challenge. They're not inherently evil, but they are also uh, they just serve to replace human connections. So erode social skills, exploit vulnerabilities, and collect intimate data. Like examples like the movie Her or the Black Mirror episode aren't just entertainment. They're warnings as AI becomes more sophisticated with time. Uh, so we need serious conversations about regulation and corporate responsibilities. So, do we want a future where people retreat into AI relationships, or do we want to invest in genuine human connections? So that's the ethical choice we face. So thank you for.
Yeah, thank you so much to all of our speakers. So, with these insights in mind, let's move on to the questions and answers section. The first question we have is a question that Doha will be taking care of. So, is marketing bad? So she said, please answer. I'm doing my bachelor in marketing. Please go ahead, Doha.
Okay, so the practice of marketing isn't the problem, it's the greed of human beings that corrupt it. Marketing at its core is about arguing on the perceived value of the product or service, but somewhere along the way, it has become a tool to extract as many profits as possible without paying any consideration of the people, the environment, and everything in between. And that is what I have been noticing that is happening with these companies that are selling these services of AI companions. It's the manipulative language that is constantly used in their marketing campaigns and ads. So we have noticed it all the time with different companies in different eras. That's the part I wanted to kind of shine light upon.
Yeah, thank you so much. So the next question is about how can we implement AI companions in Morocco to help elderly people, which is a question that INSAF will be taking care of.
This question seems very interesting, and especially now we see that Morocco is taking a step forward to train AI to speak Darija. And if we were able to do so, train it to speak languages, be multi-language like English, French, especially Darija and Tamazight, and creating a doll that can do so, and it can remind you of taking care of your well-being, that would be very interesting, and especially if it can protect our safety.
Yeah, thank you so much. So it is about time. We should wrap up this webinar. Yeah, so it was really nice going through this interesting conversation about AI companions, and hope to see you again soon. Bye.